All right, let's talk about NeuroGo. You've probably seen it pop up, you've heard the name, and you're wondering, is this for real? Well, today we're going to break down the exact case the company makes for itself. We're pulling straight from their own materials to see how they answer all the big questions. Let's dive in. So, this is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? You're here because you're doing your homework. And you know what? You're absolutely right to be skeptical about stuff you see online. So, let's walk through the exact argument NeuroGo puts forward to answer this very question. To get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at 5 key things. First up, just who is behind the company. Then we'll get into how their technology is supposed to work. After that, we'll check out the proof they offer, both the science and the user stories. And finally, and this is a big one, we'll look at your safety net. What happens if it doesn't work for you? Okay, so our entire game plan here is to look at what NeuroGo claims in its own words. We're not passing judgment, we're just laying out their side of the story so you can see exactly the case they're trying to make. First things first, who exactly are you dealing with here? Is it some faceless company overseas, or is there something more to it? Let's see what they have to say about who they are. Right off the bat, NeuroGo hits you with these key points to try and build some trust. They make it clear they're a US-based company and that they ship from a US warehouse. They talk up their core technology, calling it medical grade, and they back it all up with a 90-day guarantee and even a support group. These are really the pillars of their argument for being legit. And here's where they add the human element. The company says it was co-founded by a retired chiropractor, a guy named Darren King. And the whole reason he got into this was from watching a friend personally battle with neuropathy. This origin story is there to show that, the company is about more than just selling a box. Okay, so that covers the who. But look, a good story only gets you so far. Now it's time for the what. What is this thing actually doing? So, the tech at the heart of the NeuroGo device is called NMES. That stands for neuromuscular electrical stimulation. The way they explain it, this isn't about shocking you or masking pain. It's about using these little electrical pulses to make the muscles in your feet and calves gently contract, all on their own. And the whole point of that? To get blood flowing and support circulation. Now, this is a really important distinction they make. They are very, very clear that this is not a TENS unit, which they say just kind of blocks pain signals for a little while, and it's not a grounding mat, which doesn't really do anything active. The key phrase they use is that NMES is active. It's designed to make your muscles actually work, almost like a second heart in your legs. And this just lays out the whole chain reaction they say is happening. See, the NMES pulses make the muscles squeeze. That squeezing action helps pump the blood. When blood flow gets better, the nerves get more of what they need to be healthy, oxygen and nutrients. It's a pretty simple logical flow. Here's another really important claim they make to tackle that skepticism. They say this device is their own design. They're trying to get the point across that this isn't some generic knockoff device you could find under 10 different names online. They say it was purpose-built from the ground up specifically for neuropathy. Okay, so that's the theory, but what about the proof? NeuroGo really leans on 2 main pillars here. What they say is existing scientific research and the real-world experiences of their customers. So on the science side of things, they're not claiming they ran their own giant clinical trials. What they are doing is pointing to a whole body of research that already exists on NMES technology. They say you can find studies about its effect on circulation and neuropathy on reputable places like the National Institutes of Health website. And then you have the user stories. This first one from Carol is, wow, pretty powerful. She says, after 6 years and 3 surgeries on my feet, I am finally pain-free. It only took a week to get results. I mean, that's a massive claim after struggling for that long. Next up, we hear from Don, who's 81 years old. His message is just simple and straight to the point. The device is very helpful in relieving foot pain. You made an 81-year-old man very happy. It really zeroes in on that quality of life impact. And this one from Ray. This one is about a totally different kind of result. After 15 years of just numbness, he's talking about getting a feeling sensation back after his very first time using it. These are the kinds of specific, personal stories the company uses to make its case. But while those stories are really dramatic, the company is pretty careful about managing expectations. They say that for most users, the time it takes to really start noticing a change is more like 2 to 3 weeks of using it consistently. It's their way of saying, hey, quick results can happen, but you gotta be patient. Right, and this is another crucial part of their pitch. They position NeuroGo as more than just a gadget. They frame it like a complete system. So with the device, you also get free stuff like exercise guides, diet tips, their own book on the topic, and even access to a private support group. Okay, last but definitely not least, let's get practical. What if you try this thing and it just doesn't work? What are the actual risks and protections for you? This is probably their single biggest weapon against skepticism: 90 days. They offer a 90-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. They actually encourage you to use it for at least a month, since nerve stuff can take time. But in the end, you've got a full 3 months to make up your own mind, which really lowers the financial risk. So here's a quick recap of that whole safety net. You've got the 90-day guarantee, you have a warranty in case the product is faulty, and they state their checkout is secure and they don't hang on to your credit card info. They also put a very clear safety advisory on there, telling people with things like a pacemaker or active DVT to talk to their doctor first. And this is a big one for anyone shopping online these days. They make it super clear this is a one-time purchase. There are no sneaky hidden fees, no surprise monthly charges, and you're not going to get tricked into some subscription you never wanted. So we come all the way back to that central question. After they've laid out their US roots, their tech, the science they point to, and the stories they share, NeuroGo's final answer isn't some guarantee. It's basically an invitation. With that 90-day guarantee as a backstop, their whole position is try it out at home, see for yourself, make up your own mind.